I'm going to give you some more information on what my experience has been like with the RFID chip implant. The whole purpose of them chipping me was to get my DNA. Probably, I don't know, the pricks, the shot-like sensations that I've been getting all over my body. None of that started until I got home in Ohio. And it's ongoing. It's still continuing to take place. So they're taking samples of my DNA. The only reason they would have to take samples of my DNA is to clone, which they've openly talked about and admitted to. Because, like I said, they're so used to not getting caught. They thought that this would never get out. Clone. The whole purpose of forming a clone was to create scenarios where I don't exist. Now, not necessarily here on the earth plane, but in the esoteric plane. Now, all my relatives, not all of them, but most of them are there. I don't exist there. I have an anointing, and when I'm done here, that's it. No limbo, no nothing, no in between. So, my mission will be complete, to say the least. So I don't exist there. They're creating this clone to influence my relatives. Now, in regards to my demise. So, what this clone will do is it'll go to my relatives and tell them things or create friction in a way that it leaves an ill impression. Now, the whole thing about the esoteric plane is kind of like having an identical reality, but not reality right here. But what it does is it leaves an impression on your subconscious mind. And we all know your subconscious mind is where everything takes place. Any type of change takes place here. Once the change is accepted and takes place here, it's acted out unbeknownst to you. You have no recollection as to why. So, what they're doing is they use this clone. I told you that when they stole my vehicle that it had everything in it, including my life dreams. I now have relatives that have never wanted to do the things that I wanted to do, showing up boldly proclaiming to be pursuing the same thing I'm pursuing after they've told me that they went and gave them my plans. To purposefully create friction, just so happens I didn't react. These relatives don't know where they got the idea from. They just wake up and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Jesus, everything makes sense. I have an answer now. I have a way now. I have a plan now. That's not theirs. Now, the whole point of them giving this to that relative or that friend or that enemy is to frame them. Because obviously, when someone's demon is talking to you and openly proclaiming these things, you're taking note. And some of you aren't just taking note, you're taking action. So, you're taking action. I mean, for those that are taking action, they normally end up getting into some type of legal dispute. It's framing. This is how they frame your relatives and your loved ones and even those that you can't stand. Now, that's one thing they do. Another thing that they do is when they plant these thoughts, when they create these scenarios and do these things and make it seem so real and so true that it's accepted, it's now implanted. So it creates friction with reality, because when you see this individual, you're feeling some type of way about them, but you don't know why. You don't have a clue at what the why is. For the life of you, you cannot figure out why you feel this way about this relative, or you say this thing about this relative, or you feel this way about this new belief that you have. But because it can play out a couple of different ways, sometimes it doesn't play out just unbeknownst to you through feelings as like a cause and effect type of situation. Sometimes you actually recall the memories, like you recall the dream. and you think it's a gift, when in actuality it's a demonic entity giving you their gospel to carry out. And you're carrying out this gospel and spreading it as the truth. Even though it conflicts with everything. It conflicts with everything that you know that person to stand for, everything you know that person to ever have been, everything you know. It just conflicts with reality. So, in hindsight, the devil makes a complete fool out of you. So now going back, that's the purpose for the clone, the DNA, back to the shot. Another reason for the shot is to either drain or energize me. When they see, okay, so that before I get into that, just like you have good fortune tellers, good shaman, good psychics, all that good, you have good stuff. They have a team of those on the bad side too. So these people have a team of folks that kind of that can perceive or foresee a little bit of what my days are going to be like from day to day. So whenever they think that I'm going to have a productive day or be doing something that they absolutely don't want me to do, they give me shots to keep me asleep. Whenever they think that whenever they want to wear me out and just kind of try to wear me down, they give me shots to keep me energized. So when I want to go to sleep, they keep from going to sleep. That's how that works. Now, I told you there's good and there's bad entities. Now, the enemy will sometimes know things about you before you know things about you. They knew I was one of the original Eves before I did. The high priest didn't tell me till later. I found out later they already knew, and the entire time they're steady saying you just don't know exactly who you are. Like, you know who you are, but you don't know what you are. And then a month later, I get the news. It's no coincidence. I don't know if I said lastly or not, but there is one more reason, one more purpose behind them being able to give me these shots. They give me, I don't know what the name of this drug is, but what it does is it breaks down your aura in a way. Not my aura. I don't want to say my aura because that still shines really bright and it still reaches out as far as it normally would. But what they do is they break down my exterior in a way where I can now feel these spirits that are being laid on me. And when they leave, when I cast them off, when I get them off, they leave marks. Something that they've been able to do is pierce my womb. Now, the guy that goes by, well, I don't know how real this name is. I'm pretty sure once they catch these folks, they aren't going to be Keisha and Woe or Andrew. Now, pierce my womb. So I'm going to have to find a way. He practices witchcraft. And they put spells on everything. And I told you in the beginning, I'm going to go back on this story about 2.5, almost 3 years, because I want you to see how they prepared everything, how they strategically orchestrated and did things with my family to all contribute to my demise. But most recently, or not even most recently, 2 days into me getting home, they pierced my womb. I felt a piercing, felt like something roughly about this big through my womb. Painful. Painful. So now I have to get shaman, good witches, experts in this area, because I'm not an expert in this area. I'm just sharing with you what I do know and what my experience has been like. I'm no expert. But those are the type of people that I want to reach out to me, because I have to find a way to seal that up. They've been trying to force me to have a child ever since, because that's their way in. The doors that they're opening up these doors for these demonic beings, and that's their way in. So now this entire time, this is probably a month later, they've been telling me, well, when he comes, it's necessary to note that I'd had sex one time in 3 years. And that's more information than I even care to share with y'all, because it's no one's business. But there's my truth. And it's not a badge of honor. That's just how my life was set up. I didn't have time for it. Once in 3 years. I connected with my ex-fiance once I got home, because once I put a post on Facebook about what was taking place, he's like, hey, come get away, So, knowing that he would help me in terms of preparing this case, they possessed him. Now I've created a timeline, and we're going to go through this timeline so that you can see how these series of events unfolded, and how this individual that I know loves me changed right before my eyes. Leading up to it,